Chapter 13. The Zijin house was famous, very famous, extremely famous. It was said that when His Majesty came to the northern Liang prince's mansion to avoid the summer heat, he had visited the Zijin house incognito, just to see the beauty of Li Yuan, who deserved to be called the top courtesan of the 4 prefectures that year. Of course, this was just hearsay without any evidence. After Li Yuan disappeared, there was no longer an undisputed courtesan in the 4 prefectures. It was just like 100 flowers blooming. The beauties of the various brothels racked their brains to compete with each other for beauty. This continued until the appearance of Yu Yuwei, whose family had fallen from grace. Women who humiliated themselves would probably not use their real names, so Yu Yuwei's original name was unknown. Her real surname was probably Yu, so she used a homophone. The biggest benefactor of the Zijin house, His Royal Highness, had privately asked this most taboo question in the brothel. Yu Yuwei smiled and did not say anything, but she did not disappoint Su Fengnian too much. She performed a dazzling sword dance that had never been seen before, causing Su Fengnian to be dumbfounded. First, he was stunned, then he was terrified. If it was not for the deaf and mute old monster that was raised by Bailiang Palace standing outside, Su Fengnian, who was not only afraid of death, but also of pain, would have fled long ago. After this, the number of times he went to the Zijin house became less and less, and the doubts in his heart became stronger and stronger. 3 young masters rode on 3 fine horses, galloping wildly on the main road of Lingzhou City, with a large group of guards following behind them. Li Hanlin laughed wildly, feeling unsatisfied. Without Brother Feng these 3 years, his days could not be considered happy. Yan Qiji, who had been dragged into the water countless times, had long accepted his fate. He tried his best to avoid pedestrians. Su Fengnian, the heavenly young master of the 4 prefectures, took the lead. He took off his Zijin crown and simply used a jade hairpin to tie up his hair. He gave up on the cumbersome sword, folding fan, jade bracelet, and so on, appearing even more elegant and handsome. He headed straight for the gentle land of gold and silver. The brothel keeper of the Purple Gold House was also a famous courtesan back in the day. Following the rise of the Purple Gold House, she was too lazy to show her face in public unless there were important guests. Today, however, she hurriedly dressed up and personally went out to welcome the 3 young masters who could do whatever they wanted. The 3 of them dismounted from their horses and handed the reins over to the big tortoise who had been waiting for a long time. Without needing Su Fengnian to say anything, the familiar Li Hanlin took out a banknote worth 500 taels and stuffed it into the neckline of the middle-aged brothel keeper, who was more charming than an entertainer. He laughed strangely and said, "Auntie Han, this young master has never tasted a woman of your age. Why don't you make an exception today? Big Mother Han, do you have the skills to take 10,000 taels of silver from here? This young master has heard that back in the day, you were the best at playing the flute." The brothel keeper stretched out a finger and gently poked Li Hanlin, who had a devilish look on his face. She smiled charmingly and said, "Oh, young Master Li is so elegant this time. As long as you don't mind an old cow eating young grass, Auntie Han will use all kinds of martial arts. Not to mention playing the flute. Even the guanyin sitting upside down on the lotus is very skilled." Although she was teasing Li Hanlin, the brothel keeper's eyes were always on Su Fengnian. Li Hanlin hugged Auntie Han's slender and flexible waist and entered the Purple Gold House with Brother Feng and Yan Shuchai. He laughed softly and said, "Auntie Han, you know my taste. This time I snuck out and didn't have time to bring my errand boy. Do you have a little husband who can train me well? As for you, I suggest you seduce young Master Yan. He is still a virgin. As long as you can torment him until his back hurts and his legs cramp, I will not only give you all the money I have, but also give you 5,000 taels of silver on credit. How about this business? Of course, don't forget to give young Master Yan a small red packet of 66 taels of silver after this." The brothel keeper, who was not young but was not yet old, said charmingly, "If I don't do that, the prefecture overseer will seal up my Purple Gold House. As for little husbands, there are a few who are about to debut. They are even more tender than girls. Their skin is guaranteed to be like Sichuan brocade and satin. I guarantee you will be 100% satisfied." Li Hanlin chuckled and said, "Then let's follow the old rules. His Royal Highness will go to Yu Huakui's place. I will find some fun myself. Auntie Han will find 2 artists who know how to dance for young Master Yan." She pretended to be resentful and said, "Young Master Li, don't you want to have a taste of Auntie Han's tongue? Li Hanlin slapped her plump buttocks and said, next time, save your energy and then fight Auntie Han for 800 rounds. I must properly experience your 18 kinds of martial arts. Su Fengnian was not surprised by this. He went straight to the backyard and found a courtyard with a single door planted with banana trees. He pushed open the door and entered. Unlike the brothel keeper, Auntie Han, a woman sat in the courtyard and stared blankly at a damaged banana tree. She was only wearing green clothes, and today was no exception. She obviously heard Su Fengnian's chuckle, but she still did not move. She was different from those courtesans who emphasized extravagance. She did not have a personal servant girl to serve her. She even cleaned the room and the courtyard herself. She was a maverick. Among all the prostitutes, she really stood out like a crane among a flock of chickens. On the stone table sat a white cat that was neither fat nor thin. Just like its owner's enchanting figure, it was not appropriate to add or subtract even a bit. The white cat overflowed with spirituality and had a pair of eyes that were as resplendent as rubies. When it stared at people, it made people feel that it was absurd and strange. The most clever thing was that this pet with snow-white fur was called Wu Mainyang. Su Fengnian sat beside her and said softly, I just returned to Lingzhou and slept my fill. I immediately came out to see you. Yu Huakue stretched out her slender hand and stroked Wu Mainyang's head. The little girl said softly in a fit of pique, Yu Wei is just a prostitute. How could she dare to have extravagant hopes? The first time, I only mustered up my courage and joked about asking His Royal Highness for the status of a concubine. That person made a series of bad moves during the conversation, and I slaughtered a large dragon. The second time, it was just a sword dance, and that person didn't dare to stay in this courtyard any longer. I just don't know what kind of trouble will come up this time. That person won't come again. It was the hardest thing to enjoy a beauty's grace. Su Fengnian said angrily in an indignant tone, that guy is really a good-for-nothing. He's as timid as a mouse and as petty as a bug. Miss, you don't have to get angry over this kind of person. The next time you see him, just give him a good beating. The corners of Yu Youwei's mouth curled up slightly, but she deliberately put on a straight face and said, oh? Then may I ask where young master is from? What's your surname and name? Su Fengnian said shamelessly, unfortunately, my surname is Su and my name is Fengnian. I have the same name as that bastard, but I'm thousands of miles better than him. Even if Miss said you wanted to be a concubine, he would immediately carry you home in a palanquin with 8 carriers carrying gongs and drums. Yu Yuwei finally turned her head to look at Su Fengnian. However, this beauty with limpid eyes didn't have much joy in them. She continued to look at Ba Jiao. It's too late. I'm going to Chuzhou tomorrow. That's my hometown. I won't be coming back. Su Fengnian cried out in alarm. Yu Yuwei retracted her gaze and stared at Wu Mainyang, who was relying on her for survival. She said bitterly, you regret it, don't you? But there's no medicine for regret in this world. Su Fengnian remained silent and frowned. Yu Yuwei lay on the stone table and murmured, His Royal Highness. Look, Wu Mainyang is looking at the wall.